Okay, this is my build guide for my new character I made for Dawn of Masteries 1.40b. It's the Onmyodo class. It's kind of cool name. I think Onmyo is like a old Japanese type of magic, though it maybe means the way, so way of magic or something. I don't know. But this is definitely the most busted OP shit that I've ever made. So essentially it's using Swordfall with zero, like it's on 100% cooldown. So it doesn't have any cooldown, essentially. All of these skills don't have cooldown. So even the, essentially the immortality button, diamond skin here, it's 80% damage absorption, 50% crit damage. Like you can just spam it over and over. It's generally a 3-second timer, and then you have to wait for like 10-15 seconds to use it again or something. But with this cooldown build, if you're not lazy, you can just have 80% damage absorption and an extra 50% critical damage all the time off it if you're not lazy. But I never really use it. Sometimes I use it when I'm on that ether AoE stuff that actually takes off chunks of your health, no matter your resistance. I'll use it there to just go through like this without taking any damage. But anyway, yeah, so this is using Wizard and Fangshi. The reason why I've wanted to make this build for 2 years now, but I couldn't figure out how to get the cooldown low enough to where I can spam Swordfall, because when you take Hail of Blades at the end here, the cooldown amount goes up quite a bit. It adds like 10 seconds or 12 seconds or something like that. So I found it very difficult to get the cooldown to remove it. But I figured out a way anyway in this patch, and I'm really super happy because it's my favorite skill in Dawn of Mastery so far. I just love the swords falling from the sky. It's so cool. Like, so yeah, I'll just go through the build first with the items, and then the skills, and then the devotions I picked. Now, there's a heads up. I will say that you do not need any of the affixes on the items I have. And I always have a rule to go no more over 4 affixes. But in this build, I think I have maybe 5 items with affixes. That's just because I rolled and I got extremely lucky. What I tend to do now in Dawn of Masteries is I just set it to legendary, always show double rares, just in case there's some decent ones. And the painstaking process, I really don't mind doing it. Dismantle and get your legendary tokens, and then use the vendors here to try and roll for decent items with decent affixes. And that's what I spend all my time doing, and I'll show you how to get the items in more detail after I go through the build here. So yeah, so the first weapon I have is Carlay's Point. This one has the Enchanter's prefix and of celerity as a suffix on it. So this is the best one for this build because of the cold damage to magic weapon, which is really something special. Like, honestly, this is just a huge DPS increase overall. It is the best in slot, honestly. I have Seal of Night added onto it for the component, which converts some physical to cold. I'm not converting all of the physical yet, but there's a good chunk of it converted to cold. And then I've got Malmeth's Redemption for, yeah, the flat cold damage, and then also ether resistance and increased armor is nice. Okay, So I have a shield in there equipped. That was actually something I've done recently, making the build better. This was what I had before, which is Mythical Winter Flurry. And the 19% skill cooldown reduction, I was using Ist runes in my armor and in the helm, if I can remember correctly, to help get that skill cooldown reduction up to a higher percentage. Then I found the Cataclysmic Ice Wall of protection, the impervious Cataclysmic Ice Wall of protection. Got a nice roll on this in the vendor. This is just amazing. 30% skill cooldown reduction. You can't get a higher roll than that. Try and roll for as high as you can. I will say this about all the cooldown reductions on the items because you want as high as you can. Yeah, it just helps mitigate you having to put in Ist runes instead of putting in, for example, low rune for damage and also Zod rune for skills. I have heard that in the future patches the low runes are going to be nerfed. So that will be unfortunate, but I mean 20% chance is a lot to get your total damage modifier anyway. So just get a Cataclysmic Ice Wall of protection. I think it would be smarter if I just show you how to actually get these items, in case you're wondering. So let's go through it. So first things first, the Carly's Point of Celerity. This is a Diablo 3 item, if I can remember correctly. So we're gonna buy this from this dude here, from Ellis the Quartermaster.
Put it to good use.
And then we're just gonna get this dude here. And what you're gonna want to do is, because it's a dagger, it is considered a caster weapon. So you're gonna want to go to affixed legendary weapons, caster, and ranged. And it only takes one. I thought it was 4. So anyway, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use your legendary tokens that you should hopefully have a lot of, and constantly disassembling them at that what's her face over there, that woman, and just building up these, because you will want a lot of these to try and get your affixes and stuff. And essentially, like, there's the other there, that's a better one now that I was using. That's what I used to use. And essentially you're going to want to do this, and there it is. Enchanted Carly's Point of Celerity. Runecaster's Carly's Point. This might be, it doesn't add flat elementals, so unfortunately this is not a replacement. It adds damage to Chthonics and Ethereals, which is nice though, and it does add actually a lot of extra, but this might be better. I'm just going to hang on to this. Yeah. So I might have found a better weapon there. I'll have to check it afterwards. So you're going to want to do that for this weapon to try and get one. So next one is the Cataclysmic Ice Wall. This is the Cataclysm Blacksmith. Some of the Cataclysm Blacksmith, and you're gonna want to just get the legendary Cataclysm item here, level 90 to 100. This is a level 100. So, and do the same thing until you get the shield. There it is. This one does not have any affixes on it, so you'll have to just keep rolling for them. You do not need affixes though. This only has 23% skill cooldown reduction, so that is not the best roll at all. Try and get 30 if you can. It's just going to require time, patience, and just collecting those legendary tokens. And this, in this instance, it just takes 1 again instead of 4. There are ones that take 4. I think it might be NCFF Blacksmith for the other items, which I'm going to go through now. Okay, so yeah, the shield. The reason I chose the shield over the caster offhand is obviously it's really nice to have a 30% chance to block that damage. The huge skill cooldown reduction, that is the main reason. That is a that is a huge amount of skill cooldown, which will more than likely be these items with skill cooldown reductions. I think it's going to be all taken off in the next patch. So this is the reason why I'm getting this build out there now in this patch, because I think this is the last time we'll be able to have fun with 100% skill cooldown reduction builds. This is just something that is going to be removed by the mod developers, as far as I'm aware. So this is pretty much the last chance we have to enjoy these. Yeah, so this is definitely the best in slot here. You can use what I had, that this mythical winter flurry. Overall, this build is just, it's important to just get 100% skill cooldown reduction. That's what makes this build shine, and that's what makes it busted. It is broken because having 100% skill cooldown on skills like diamond skin, it's just really broken in the best way, of course. Yeah, so I'll do the rings now. This is an amazing roll I got on this ring. It's a double rare. It's a frozen sky ring, and you get this ring from, I think it's Diablo 3.
Got any more scrap metal?
I think it is Diablo 3. So affixed legendary. Wait a second now. Yeah. I don't remember getting it from here though. Maybe I did though. This is taking 4, so it's a lot. Just see. It might be NCFF actually. For whatever reason, it seems like it's not though. I don't know why I'm thinking it's not, but it's probably NCFF. So let's see. All right, affixed legendary weapons and jewelry. Let's just see. Yeah, it is NCFF, if I remember correctly. Let's see if we have it here. I'm going through all of my legendary tokens here, but that's what making a build guide is about. Let me just see. Wow. Okay. So I don't have affixes on a lot of my items still, so it is not min-maxed completely, but yeah. So this is not something I should be doing now. I'm making a build guide, but you get to see the process, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna see. These are all items that you use in the build, so that's why I'm just checking. I'll just put these over here. So this is essentially what you're going to be doing to min-max this build once you have the items. Apologies if I'm taking so long to get to the point of the build. I just want to be as thorough as I can be. I'm trying to find this ring. Alright, nearly out of legendary tokens here, so okay, look. Anyway, you get the point. It's one of these here. Sorry, I can't remember. Frozen Sky. It's either, I think it's Diablo 3 because of the skills that are attached to the item. I think it is Diablo 3. Somebody could correct me on that. But yeah, you'll want to get a Frozen Sky. You do not need affixes on this at all. You don't need affixes on any of these items. I did not have any on this build when I first made it, and it was still just ridiculous. Able to do everything. I did not try any of the super bosses, or I didn't go into Shattered Realm because I have not got there yet, but this will undoubtedly have no problem with any of that stuff. So yeah, this is the ring you'll be choosing. Then you're going to want Mythical Majesty of Arcane Mystery. This one does not have any affixes on it. I just got one there though. But you don't need affixes. In fact, I probably will not be putting any more affix on it because it's just strong enough as is, this build. The flat elemental damage is lovely, and the 100% ether damage converted to elemental plus the percentage elemental damage on the toggleable is really nice as well. Yeah, you're going to want Gem of Wizardries in here to have the cooldown reduction stacking to make it 10% on the rings, 10 and 10, and also adding one skill in Wizard is really nice with Sky Shard Powder as your augment. For the amulet, I'm using a mythical Vice Ravana, which I was actually getting a lot of there when I was doing that, trading in the tokens there. I have Thunderstruck of Readiness as OA with the Readiness affix, and Thunderstruck is just adding, I think, lightning damage, which it's nice to have. The reason I have this on though is because of the granted skills, God of Warriors. It's a passive if you have a sword, mace, dagger, or scepter equipped. We have a dagger equipped in our case. So if this is correct, this is huge. 45% to ethereals, chthonics, ripspawn, magical is huge. That racial damage is really big. And 20% less damage from the same dudes is fucking huge. Really big. I have Moonglow on it. Skill rune of Crescent Moon. It gives you the skill Moonglow. Minus 15% cold resistance and OA and DA. Minus resistance there. It's really nice. Sorry, minus OA and DA. Using Mythical Bodhi Crown, you get this from I think it's NCFF. Yeah, I think it's NCFF. I think it's NCFF or Cataclysm. You'll find it quick enough when you're just doing what I did there, which is trading in tokens. You'll be able to find one, no bother. You're going to want to have as high a skill cooldown reduction on this as you can. That's the only thing you need to worry about on this. Just worry about getting as high cooldown resistance rolls on your gear as you can. That's all you need to worry about. The reason I have this helm on when there are other ones that might seem better by adding cold damage is because of the granted skill, which is essentially a 25% chance on attack of a nullify, as far as I'm aware, which is huge. This is just so important to have. And when you're casting the skills we're going to be casting with this build, this is going to proc a lot, so it's really important to have. The armor is Chains of Honor. You get that from the Diablo 2 blacksmith. With the Zod rune, Crystallized Earth. You're going to have Mythical Shoulder Guard of Wheeled Wolf. I have Shrewd of Menhir's Wall affixes on these. And once again, I cannot remember if it's NCFF or Cataclysm. I think it's NCFF. For the gloves, Mythical Chilling Grip of Hagaraz. The 29% piercing damage converted to cold damage is actually quite nice because Swordfall uses pierce damage, and converting some of that damage to cold is going to add to the DPS quite significantly. That's why I chose these gloves, essentially because of the pierce conversion. Funk Threads, I have Shrewd of Blades. You can just get these from I think it's Diablo 2. I think it's the Diablo 2 blacksmith again. Mythical Mark of Consciousness you get from NCFF, I think. Yeah, because we just got that there. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm using Spell Scorch Plating and Soleil's Void Ward in this, and I'm using Sacred Plating and Soleil's Void Ward in this. And Boon of the Trapped here and Primal Earth, you can use Mog Drogon if you want, but I think it's actually important to have these stats as high as you can. So yeah, Mythical Frozen Dream, get that from NCFF, I think. Yeah, we have two of them in the set, but you know, the only thing really useful, I don't know, total damage modified by 5% to Blizzard. I don't know if that's such a big deal or not, but it's still nice to have. And maximum reduce, it's just nice to have these. You're going to use Frostworm Incisor for the relic. This is best in slot. And you're going to use Bismeal Sect Leg Guards, Stonehide of Incantations as the affixes. Yeah. But yeah, you're going to use Chthonic Shard and Crystallized Life here for the augments and components, and you're going to use Heart of Corruption Essence. It's pretty much the same as most builds use. And Ancient Armor Plate and Crystallized Earth, and you're going to use a Zodran here and Crystallized Earth. Now, as I said earlier, like depending on your rolls for skill cooldown reduction on the items, you know, you're going to probably want to, as an example, if you're not getting the highest rolls you can, which I think I've got the highest rolls on these items, or pretty high, you'll want to take out the low rune and put in an Istrune here, take out the Zodrune, put in an Istrune, and the same here, take out the low rune, put in an Istrune. And you can take out Seal of Night and put in an Istrune here as well. So essentially you'll be having 2, 4, 6, 8% extra cooldown reduction if you do not have high rolls in these items. So it's pretty flexible in that regard. That is nice. The nice thing about the Istrunes, and they also add 30% extra damage. So 3, 6. Now you'll have 120% extra damage there as well, which will be nice. So the lack of all skills and everything, you won't miss it too much. So I think I've covered everything in the items. The stats are as follows with my build here. It's like the damage is coming from sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. The damage is coming from your cold. It's just essentially focused on cold. So like as you can see, this is pretty predominantly cold, which is essentially telling us that it is a very focused build and it is a DPS monster just because of that focus and those high numbers. It's just not spread out here much at all. It is, for all intents and purposes, just a cold build using Swordfall as the main skill here. And we have, you know, other skills you'll be using at the same time to proc the devotions and also get some percentage reduction of elemental resistance as well, and procking more devotions, rumor, and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll get to the skills now, and I'll let you know how it works. Just one second. Okay. So this is with all the gear on, essentially. I do not feel like taking all the gear off and showing you how many points I have base. But with your gear on, this is what the build is going to look like. You're going to have 10 points in Diamond Skin. This is a button that is a panic button. It is the icing on the cake, essentially. You do not need to ever really use this, ever. I have never used this in a situation that made me think I was going to die. Never happened. So if that situation ever does happen, maybe in very high Shattered Realm or something, which I don't think it would then even, because of, like, it's, you know, I don't need to even explain. We have a dagger equipped. This skill is 100% on 100% cooldown at all times. Yeah. So Frost Nova, gonna take the modifier to it, or whatever it's called, this thing. Energy armor, Archon. You'll be using this and making sure this is never on. It's never not being used. This is a big DPS increase, very big, and it's essentially a very tanky ability as well, and it looks really nice. Look at that, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Blizzard, of course. I'll go through the devotions next. So, magic weapon, which is actually being modified here by Parlay's point in a good way. All that cold damage, 4% physical resistance too. You're going to take Astral Presence, you're going to take Unwavering Will, and Unstable Anomaly, which I have never even seen happen. I have never gone below 50% health. Ever with this build. Okay, Fangshi. The coolest skill in the game. Swordfall. You're going to max this. You're going to max Transmute. You're going to max Cold Steel. Look at that, minus 31% cold resistance and total speed. And you're going to take Hail of Blades. You're going to get 18 here, Signet of Metal. And you're going to take 18 here in Signet of Water. And this is just amazing, this skill here, Twist of Fate. I think this is what is literally, in my opinion, keeping this build just pretty invincible. Okay, so that's all the skills there. Devotions I chose are as follows. Okay, you're going to take these two here. Alright, just take this first, then go Eel. You're probably going to need to take these at some point, or this one at some point. Take green as well. You're going to take Spider. You'll have to take red at some point. Take Mantis. Empty Throne. Owl. Quill. Murmur. Lotus. Amatok. And then you're gonna bind Blizzard to Swordfall. The reason why I bind it to Swordfall is essentially for the skill being as the way it is. It just makes more sense to have Blizzard on Swordfall because of how you'll be using the skill and how it is faster, and it's just better. I did some testing. I put it on Blizzard. It didn't work out very well. So you'll just have to put it onto Swordfall. Yeah, you're gonna take Oaklane's Lantern because we're using a dagger. So yeah, and you're gonna take Leviathan. You're gonna bind Whirlpool to Blizzard. Oh yeah, and you're gonna bind Rumor to Frost Nova. So you're gonna be using Frost Nova first to debuff the enemies, and then you're going to be spamming Swordfall and then you're going to be spamming Swordfall to which is bound to Blizzard, and you're going to be spamming Blizzard, which is bound to Whirlpool. And yeah, that's the devotions there. So I think I've covered everything there. I don't think there's anything else to cover, really. So playing it on Satanic, I'm actually just going to put things to low, just because of the amount of like lag this causes. So I'll just show you the build in. So you're going to be using Archon, remember, and then this is first, and then just spam these skills. Yeah. Keep Archon up. Make sure it's, make sure it's up at all times. I do not use Diamond Skin. If I did, it's an extra 80% damage reduction, plus 50% crit damage. It adds to DPS immensely. Yeah, this is just a ridiculous build. It's just really fun as well. It's not one of those broken builds that is boring. It's just, for me personally, I think a lot of people feel that way. It's just a fun build. It is ridiculous though. Yeah, you can. This is just a very easy farming chill build. And you can go higher Zeke on this. I'm sure of it. You just need a NASA computer to do so. Alright, here's Nemesis. And then just pick up all the legendaries so that you can get those tokens when you disassemble them, and then you can get even more OP by getting affixes on the legendaries you have. There's a lot of Nemesis over here. Let's just take them out now. Just very satisfying. Back in the old patches in 1.26a in particular, when the Zenith skills were quite powerful, when the Zenith skills were a lot stronger than they are now, you know, combining, like, for example, Terra Knight with Outrider, the DPS was very high and it was a very strong build. But it just didn't have the same satisfaction as just raining swords and ice shards down on enemies and destroying them. So yeah, this skill here, chill spikes, by the way, I forgot to say, it's from the component here, Seal of Night, which you might not be putting on depending on the, as I said, the cooldown reduction rolls you get on your items. You might be having an Istin in here. I think you can put ist in your weapons and shields. I think you can, but it's just chill spikes. I just have it bound here to left mouse click. So that is the Onmyodo. That is my new build, and it is, in my opinion, the most fun build in the Honor Masteries. And it will undoubtedly be nerfed to the ground by the next patch. Because as far as I'm aware, cooldown reduction builds won't be viable anymore in upcoming patches. So I recommend people to not update if they want to play this build, and just keep it at 1.4 OB. Yeah, so this was long, this was drawn out. Apologies for the lack of my inability to make the video shorter and more to the point, but I think I was thorough enough explaining everything. Yeah, so yeah, hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.